another tune composed to set to music, a song from one of Shakespeare's plays, this time Under the Greenwood Tree from As You Like It. Listen to the first verse. Under the greenwood tree who loves to lie with me, and tune his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather. Dozens of composers have arranged music from the song. Thomas Arne, Lord Hodder, Herbert Howells, Sir Charles Parry, Eric Korngold, Roger Quilter, Sir William Walton, to mention but a few. Shakespeare's genius is a timeless inspiration. It makes a good introduction to our study of the fifth and last major vowel of the alphabet, the letter U. I say last major vowel because Y can act either as a consonant or a vowel. Like all the preceding vowels, A, E, I and O, the vowel U can make a wide variety of sounds, as you'll hear now from our opening sentence.
Usually just an unruly nuisance, Ursula's unusual Russian guest busily rushed about in the upstairs buffet, pushing and pulling Julia's useless vacuum cleaner, but it refused to suck up the awful crushed biscuits and prunes glued with custard and fruit juice to the plush purple rug under the furniture. So Marcus had to use a bucket and brush until Uncle Ulysses untruthfully judged it undetectable. We'll start with the sound we came across first as the unique sound of single O in woman, divinest of creatures.
The double O2 sound in would and good.
And the OU8 in would and should.
This is the sound that we now have with U alone in words like bull and push.
Remember how we made the sound. You begin with your mouth relaxed, your lips making a small O shape, and the tip of your tongue pressing against your gum behind your bottom front teeth. Then you produce a puff of air from the back of your mouth, and as you do so, you push your lips and chin forward in a cartoon kiss.
Watch and listen as we give some examples.
Bull, full, push, pull.
Woman, good, should.
It's a sound midwives are very good at making when a woman is having a baby.
Push, woman, push!
There are not many short U1 words, but here are some of the most important examples. Bull,
Bullet,
bulletin,
bullion,
bullock,
bulmer,
bush,
ambush,
bulwark,
butcher,
cushion,
full,
fully,
fulsome,
pull,
pulley,
push,
put.
sugar.
You will have heard that short U1 is always in a stressed syllable, though occasionally it is a secondary stress, as in ambush, where the primary stress is on the first syllable.
Now you say those words exactly as we did.
The short U2 sound will need little practicing because it is the same as short A2, short E2, short I2 and short O2, not to mention combinations like ION and OUS.
Yes, it's dear Ivy again, the girl we meet everywhere and who's equally at home in every word of the phrase, the mission of a Lancashire supplier.
And in short U2, as in all her other manifestations, she is always unstressed, which is the opposite of the case with short U1. Listen now to some examples of Ivy's short U2 words.
Beautiful, abacus, anus, bogus, chorus, focus, Marcus, virus.
Arthur, brochure, nature, picture, fixture, investiture, ligature, mixture.
Callus, campus, discus, ignoramus, indus, onus, walrus, minus,
per annum, spectrum, plectrum, asylum, chromium, platinum,
quantum, optimum, tedium, valium, rictus, prospectus,
surreal, suspend, suspect, suspicious, sustain, surrender,
suppose, supply, surround, surprise, surmise,
pursue, purloin, purvey.
Now you repeat those words, and note that the R is almost or wholly silent when following short U in unstressed prefixes, as in surprise, surmise, purloin, or purvey.
You will notice that many of the short U2 word endings are the US and UM endings of adopted Latin words or formations, as in focus, campus, anus, and tedium.
There's also the expression per annum, meaning yearly, which I never see or hear without chuckling at the true story of a famous school in northern England, which sent a circular letter to all the parents of its pupils, telling them that the fees were going to go up by a large amount per annum.
Unfortunately, the school's secretary had typed the word annum with only one N, so that it read per annum, meaning through the arse.
A surprised parent wrote back wittily thanking the school for the information about the increased fees, but observing that as to the novel method of payment which was indicated, he would continue to pay as before through the nose, which is an English idiom for being made to pay much more than a thing is worth.
It's an odd phrase which probably derives from the Viking invasions of the British Isles from the 9th century, when the penalty for not paying an exorbitant tax was to have your nose slit or cut off altogether. Anyway, you have not paid through the nose for this course, which I'm sure you'll agree by now is extraordinarily good value.
Now listen to a sentence in which every U is either short U2 or short U1. Arthur Bulmer ambushed Marcus Fuller, putting suspicious bulletins and bogus prospectuses on campus.
Now you tell us about Arthur Bulmer's ambushing Marcus Fuller as he put up bulletins and bogus prospectuses on campus.
Note, by the way, that the correct plural of prospectus is the English plural form prospectuses, for although many masculine Latin nouns ending in US have their Latin plurals ending in I,
and these Latin plurals have their uses, as in distinguishing the male and female graduates of a university as alumni and alumni.
the Latin plural of prospectus does not change its spelling, but simply lengthens the U into the long U1 sound that we shall come to shortly. Prospectus, rhyming with moose.
It is a terrible but terribly common mistake to see and hear the plural of prospectus spelt and pronounced as though it ended in I and even in AE by false analogy with alumni and alumni.
Wherever possible, it is best to use the English plural forms for Latin-based words. Premiums, not premier.
Focuses, not foci.
Viruses, not viri.
Quantums, not quanta.
Abacuses, not abaci.
Moving now to the short U3 sound of words like up and must, we'll find that just as short U2 sounds the same as short O2 in the last two syllables of octopus, the short U3 sound is identical to the short O3 in undone.
Let's refresh our memories and check our pronunciation by recalling the silly sentence in which every O has the short O3 sound.
Someone's mother's grovelling brothers come, shoveling lovely money.
Now you say that sentence to practice making the short O3 sound, which is the same as short U3.
Listen carefully now to a list of words with the same sound made by the letter U.
Up,
But,
cuff,
fun,
fuss,
jug,
hull,
cult. Now you say those words exactly as we did.
And now let's practice a much longer list, containing not just monosyllables, but polysyllables.
And for the latter, the words of more than one syllable, we have underlined the main stressed syllable. And where there is more than one letter U in a word, we have put the short U3 in italics.
Watch and listen carefully now. It is a long list, but short U3 is an important and much mispronounced sound, so it is worth the effort, and it's good for vocabulary too. Bust, custody, custard, mustard, crust, disgust.
Dust, gust, lust, must, rust, trust.
Rush, crush, flush, gush, hush.
Lush, plush, rush, slush, thrush.
Much, such, clutch, Dutch, hutch.
Concussion, percussion, Russian, repercussions.
Bunch, crunch, hunch, lunch, punch.
Duck, luck, muck, pluck, struck, suck.
Cull, dull, gull, hull, lull, mull.
Nullify, sullen, sully.
Bum, gum, hum, mum, rum, sum, glum, swum.
Crumb, dumb, bump, hump, jump, lump.
Mumps, pump, stump, crumple, rumple.
Crumble, fumble, humble, jumble.
Mumble, rumble, stumble, tumble.
Bun, fun, gun, none. Pun, run, sun, stun, uncle.
Bungle, bunk, drunk, grunt, hunt, punt, runt.
Bus, pus, fuss, discuss. Suspect, entrust.
Butt, butter, cuff, stunt.
Curry, flurry, hurry, hurricane.
Up, cup, upper, supper.
Under, underline, understand.
Undo, untie, uncomfortable, unendurable.
Drug, jug, mug, plug, rug, struggle.
Cult, cultivate, consult, result.
Surreptitious, surrogate, ultra, ultimate.
Budge, drudge, fudge, grudge.
Judge, judgment, nudge, sludge, budget.
Note carefully the difference between the short U3 of words like repercussion and the short U1 of cushion. English people with some northern dialects wishing to speak RP have a particular problem with these sounds. Listen to these words again. Repercussion, cushion.
Cushion, repercussion. Now you say that long list of short U3 examples.
And note how stress is a key to distinguishing between short U2 and short U3, because short U2, like all Ivy vowel sounds, is never stressed, whereas short U3 is almost always stressed.
Compare, for example, the following pairs of words in which the U in the first of each pair is the unstressed short U2 and the U in the second is the stressed short U3, surrender and surrogate.
Discus and discuss.
Omnibus and its abbreviated form, bus.
Similarly, we have the short U2 Ivy sound in the first syllable of the verbs sustain and suspect. But when that syllable becomes stressed, it changes to short U3, as in the nouns sustenance and suspect.
Though the noun suspicion, keeping the first syllable unstressed, naturally retains the short U2 sound of the verb.
Listen to a short practice sentence.
Understanding he was under suspicion, the suspect was suspected of having discussed surrendering on the bus.
Now you say this, first with the help of the marked text showing the stressed syllables underlined, then from the following unmarked version.
Note that the prefix un always has the short U3 sound, not only in words like unendurable and unnecessary, where it is one of two equally stressed syllables, but also in words like undo or untie, where it isn't.
It is arguable, however, that this is not really an exception to the general rule, for although the primary stress is on another syllable, there is a slight secondary stress on those first syllables that imply the opposite of the root word.
Similarly, the prefix under retains the short U3 of the preposition under, as in understand and underline.
Which incidentally is the correct English word, sadly being undermined by the American interloper underscore.
The word until, however, can have either the short U2 Ivy sound or short U3, but the latter is usually preferable. It derives from an Old Norse preposition meaning up to, plus the Old English till, meaning a fixed point, and till, with double L, is of course still used as its short form.
Now listen to a sentence in which every letter U has the short U3 sound.
His bumbling, drunken Russian uncle sullenly discussed hunting subjects until he stumbled, crumpled up, and tumbled in a disgusting lump on the dusty Dutch rug.
At this point, we hasten to declare that putting Russians into unfavourable contexts in our practice sentences indicates no anti-Russian bias or moral judgment whatever. It is purely a matter of pronunciation.
And in any case, the English are not renowned for sobriety.
Now you tell us what a disgusting spectacle this chap's drunken Russian uncle made of himself. I expect he'd been overdoing the vodka.
And now let's make sure that we are correctly distinguishing the short U3 sound from the short A1 sound. Again, this can be a particular problem for those with Northern English dialects learning RP, as well as for some foreign students. Listen to the following examples.
Bat, but,
Cat, cut,
hat, hut.
underpants, undermanned.
In each of the first three pairs of words, we had first short A1, then short U3.
And in underpants and undermanned, we had short U3, followed by the Ivy sound, followed by short A1. Now you say those words.
And now let's practice some words in each of which the first U is short U3 and the second is short U2. Listen and watch carefully.
Umbilicus, which is the technical term for the navel.
Culture.
Ultimatum.
Now you say those words.
Remember that the unstressed TURE combination in words like culture and picture makes the soft CH1 sound followed by the short U2 ivy sound.
The sound of the TURE that follows the hard C in picture, for example, is exactly the same as the sound of the combination TCHER in pitcher, where the T sound is virtually absorbed into the soft CH2.
Let's remind ourselves how to make the sound. You push your lips forward into a cartoon kiss, with your tongue pressed hard against your palate behind your top teeth. Then you drop your jaw and tongue to drive the air out from the front of your mouth. Watch and listen carefully. Ch.
Ch.
Culture.
Nature. And here is a fuller list of TURE words and their derivatives. Adventure. Adventurous.
Capture. Creature. Culture. Cultural. Cultured.
Denture. Feature. Juncture. Ligature. Nature.
Picture. Puncture. Rapture. Rapturous.
Rupture. Sculpture. Structure. Venture. Vulture.
Now you practice those words.
Remember also that the unstressed combination DURE in procedure, as we discussed in our section on the letter D, can be pronounced either with the insertion of a short I or Y sound between the basic D sound and the short U2, procedure, or with the D pronounced as J, procedure, just as the T sound slides into the soft CH sound in nature.
Listen again to the alternative pronunciations. Procedure. Procedure.
I prefer to hear the basic D sound, procedure, but you choose for yourself which to use.
You will notice that in all these cases, URE and its derived combinations have the unstressed short U2 ivy sound. When the syllable is stressed, however, the U sound is not the ivy sound, for ivy, remember, is always unstressed and short, but a long U preceded by the basic T or D sounds, as in mature or endure.
Now, before we go on to our next short U sound, let's have a sentence to compare the first three we have studied so far. Listen and watch carefully now.
Just picture Arthur Butler's truck full of bullocks being supplied to Dutch butchers, getting untied and running off.
Now you describe the sight of Arthur Butler's truck full of bullocks escaping being supplied to the Dutch butchers. Practice it first with the help of the marked text, then make sure you can do it correctly reading from the following plain text.
The short U4 sound is the same as the short I1 sound of it or bit, and though it is found in very few words, two of them are very important and common. These are busy and minute.
And it's appropriate that they are connected phonetically as well as proverbially, because time is money.
Listen to a little sentence.
A 5-minute break is good for busy brains.
Now you say this.
And besides the noun minute, meaning a period of 60 seconds, there is the verb minute, identically spelt and pronounced, which means to take notes of meetings, the notes being known as the minutes of a meeting.
The short U5 sound is one that we've already practiced quite recently under the letter Q, as it most commonly follows that letter, as in queen or quite. And as we practiced the QU sound so recently, we'll just say some examples to refresh our memories.
Aquatic, equal, quadrangle, quaint, quake.
Quality, inequality, quantify, quandary.
Quarrel, quarter, quarry, quash, squash.
Squat, question, squelchy, queen, queasy.
Queer, squeeze, quick, quid, liquid, quill.
Quilt, quintet, harlequin, sequin, tarquin.
Equip, marquis, relinquish, vanquish.
Requisition, quit, equitation, equity, quiz.
Quiet, quite, acquire, inquire, require, squire.
Squirm, squirt, quota, quote, quotation.
Loquacity, loquacious, colloquy, obloquy.
Now you say those words.
Less frequently, we find short U5 following G or S. Listen to the following examples. Guatemala,
Unguent,
penguin,
Guinevere,
anguish,
languish,
distinguish,
extinguish,
persuade,
persuasion,
dissuade,
persuasive,
assuage,
swayed.
sweet.
Now you say those words.
And exceptionally, we find short U5 following the letter C in the adopted French word cuisine. Now let's have a sentence to practice this sound. Listen and watch carefully.
Queen Guinevere's quality Guatemalan cuisine frequently requires an equally distinguished wine.
Now you say that sentence.
Which is interesting not only phonetically, but also gastronomically.
And here's another silly sentence for practicing these sounds.
The Marquis, the fat equerry in the Queen's suite, looked quite like a penguin in his suede shoes and a sequin quilted shirt.
Now you tell us how funny the Marquis looked before we move on to the long U sounds.